We often hear about managing risks like high blood pressure or cholesterol, and that's absolutely vital. Doctors are right to focus on that. But sometimes the simplest steps, the daily choices we make about what we put on our plates, can be just as mighty, if not more so, in protecting our health and our independence. Today, I want to talk with you, really have a conversation about 6 everyday foods. These aren't some exotic, hard-to-find ingredients, but common items that studies suggest can make a real difference in keeping your blood vessels healthy and your brain sharp, especially for those of us navigating life after 60. Are you ready to explore some delicious ways to bolster your defenses? Perhaps you're looking out for yourself, or maybe for a loved one. Either way, taking a few moments to understand this could be one of the best investments in future well-being. So grab a comfortable seat and let's journey through these powerful foods together, shall we? 1. Dark chocolate. A treat that's surprisingly smart for your arteries. Now, who here enjoys a little piece of chocolate now and then? Go on, you can admit it. Well, what if that little indulgence, when chosen wisely, could actually be doing your brain a big favor? I'm talking about good quality dark chocolate, the kind that's rich in cocoa. Think 70% or higher. You might have heard that dark chocolate is packed with something called flavonoids. These are natural compounds, and they're a bit like tiny superheroes for your blood vessels. They encourage your body to produce nitric oxide, which is a fascinating little molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. Why is that so important, especially as we age? Well, when blood vessels are relaxed and open, blood flows more easily. That means better circulation to your brain, which is crucial for clear thinking and reducing stroke risk. It also means your heart doesn't have to work quite so hard, which can help keep blood pressure in a healthier range. Think of it like keeping your body's plumbing smooth and clear, preventing those dangerous blockages. Some studies, like one mentioned in Sweden, following older adults, found that regular, modest consumption of dark chocolate was linked to a lower chance of stroke. It's not magic, but rather the intelligent design of nature packed into that cocoa bean. Beyond flavonoids, dark chocolate also offers a bit of magnesium, which we know is important for blood pressure regulation, and even small amounts of theobromine and caffeine for a gentle mental lift. Now, before you rush out and buy a mountain of chocolate bars, let's talk sense. A little is the key phrase here. 1 or 2 small squares a day is often plenty. I find it's a lovely, satisfying treat after a meal. But, and this is a big but, quality matters immensely. We're not talking about sugary milk chocolate candy bars. Look for high cocoa content and try to find brands with lower added sugar. Are there things to be mindful of? Absolutely. Dark chocolate, even the good stuff, is calorie dense. Enjoy too much, and it could contribute to weight gain, which isn't our goal. And for some, especially if you have a sensitive digestion or deal with acid reflux, too much can be an irritant. Also, if you're on certain medications, perhaps for blood pressure or some antidepressants, it's always wise to have a quick chat with your doctor. Chocolate contains tyramine, which, in some instances, can interact with medications. But for most seniors, a small, thoughtful indulgence in high-quality dark chocolate isn't a guilty pleasure. It's a rather smart and enjoyable way to support your brain and vessel health. Isn't it wonderful when something so enjoyable can also be beneficial? 2. Beans and lentils, the unsung heroes of heart and brain protection. Let's shift gears to something incredibly humble, something you likely have tucked away in your pantry right now. Beans and lentils. These might not get the glamour of some superfoods, but believe me, for folks over 60, they are nutritional powerhouses, especially when we're talking about stroke prevention. Why are these so special? Well, they are loaded with fiber, good quality plant-based protein, potassium, magnesium, and a particularly important B vitamin called folate. Each of these plays a crucial role. One of the culprits that can quietly damage our arteries and increase the risk of blood clots, particularly in older adults, is an amino acid in the blood called homocysteine. When its levels get too high, it's bad news for our blood vessels. And guess what helps bring those levels down? You got it, folate. There's solid research showing that boosting folate intake, especially from foods like lentils, can significantly reduce homocysteine. That's a big win for reducing stroke risk. But it's not just about folate. A single cup of cooked lentils, for example, gives you a hefty dose of fiber. Why do we care about fiber? It's brilliant for helping to manage cholesterol levels. That same cup provides a good amount of protein, which is vital for maintaining muscle mass as we age. Without the saturated fat you might find in some animal proteins. Plus, they're rich in potassium, which helps your body regulate blood pressure naturally. It's like a multi-nutrient shield for your cardiovascular system. I often hear seniors say they're trying to eat healthier, but good food is expensive. Well, beans and lentils are incredibly budget-friendly, and they are so versatile. You don't need to be a gourmet chef. How about adding a scoop of black beans to your salad? Or making a simple, comforting lentil soup with a bit of garlic and olive oil? A bean and rice bowl can be a satisfying and very healthy lunch. What I particularly appreciate is how they offer a fantastic alternative to red meat, which, when consumed excessively, can contribute to inflammation and arterial plaque. Studies have even shown that folks who swap out red meat for legumes a few times a week see a notable drop in their risk of cardiovascular issues, including stroke. Now, some people worry about, shall we say, the musical side effects of beans. If you have a sensitive digestion, start slowly. Maybe just a half cup a day and see how you go. Rinsing canned beans very well or soaking dry beans overnight and then rinsing them can really help remove some of those compounds that cause gas. So the next time you're meal planning, remember these humble heroes. Stroke prevention doesn't always require fancy supplements. Sometimes it's as simple and affordable as a warm bowl of lentil soup. 3. Avocados, the creamy delight that fortifies your arteries. All right, let's talk about a food that feels wonderfully indulgent yet is packed with goodness for your brain and arteries. The avocado. Many of us love it on toast or mashed into guacamole, but do you realize just how beneficial this creamy fruit can be, especially when we're focusing on stroke prevention as we age? Avocados are famous for their monounsaturated fats. Now, I know the word fat can sometimes sound alarm bells, but these are the good fats, the kind our bodies thrive on. These healthy fats are champions at helping to lower LDL and can even give a little boost to HDL. Why is this cholesterol balance so critical? High levels of LDL cholesterol are a major risk factor for stroke because they can lead to plaque buildup in our arteries. Imagine those arteries as highways for blood flow to your brain. Plaque is like a traffic jam, restricting that vital flow. But here's the encouraging news. Research, like a study from the Journal of the American Heart Association, has shown that folks who enjoy an avocado a day tend to have significantly lower LDL cholesterol levels and better overall artery function. And it doesn't stop there. Avocados are also a fantastic source of potassium, even more than bananas, surprisingly. Potassium is a key player in managing blood pressure. They also provide magnesium for a steady heart rhythm, and vitamin K and folate, both of which are essential for keeping our blood vessels strong and helping to prevent unwanted clot formation. Think about it. As we get older, our blood vessels can naturally lose some of their youthful elasticity. Avocados, with their unique nutrient profile, seem to help keep these vessels more supple and smooth, which means improved circulation everywhere, including to that all-important brain. Some long-term studies have even suggested that women who chose monounsaturated fats from sources like avocados over less healthy fats had a notably lower risk of stroke. So, how can you weave this green goodness into your day? You don't necessarily need to eat a whole one every day, especially if you're mindful of calories. A quarter to a half of an avocado is often plenty. Mash it onto whole grain toast with a sprinkle of pepper, slice it into your salads for a creamy texture, or even blend it into a smoothie with some berries and perhaps a bit of Greek yogurt for an extra protein kick. It adds a wonderful richness. It's one of those foods that truly nourishes your arteries, ensuring your brain gets the oxygen and nutrients it needs. When your arteries are happy, your brain is happier, and the shadow of stroke becomes that much less imposing, don't you think? 4. Fatty fish, fueling your brain with nature's best fats. Now, let's dive into something that doctors and nutritionists have been recommending for years, not just for heart health, but increasingly for brain health too. I'm talking about fatty fish. Think delicious salmon, mighty mackerel, and even those convenient little sardines or trout. Why the fuss about fatty fish? Because these swimmers are the richest natural source of omega-3 fatty acids. These are truly special types of healthy fats, and their benefits are wide-ranging. They're known to help reduce inflammation throughout the body, improve blood circulation, and even offer protective qualities for your brain cells. When we're specifically talking about stroke prevention, the science is quite compelling. Major reviews looking at vast numbers of people have found that those who regularly consume fatty fish, say at least twice a week, have a significantly lower risk of ischemic stroke. That's the most common type, caused by a clot-blocking blood flow to the brain. How do these omega-3s work their magic? They help lower triglycerides, reduce the tendency for plaque to build up in your arteries, improve the flexibility of your blood vessels, and can even help prevent abnormal blood clotting. It's like they're working on multiple fronts to keep your cardiovascular system running smoothly. Beyond the omega-3s, fatty fish also gift us with vitamin D, which is crucial for blood vessel health, and also helps with inflammation, and vitamin B12, which is vital for nerve function and memory support. Something incredibly important as we get older, as B12 absorption can sometimes decline. And of course, they provide high-quality protein, essential for maintaining muscle strength. I find it fascinating that some studies have shown seniors who ate salmon a couple of times a week actually demonstrated improved cognitive scores and better blood flow to the brain. That's powerful. So, how can you get these benefits? It doesn't have to be complicated. Try baking a salmon fillet with a drizzle of olive oil and a squeeze of lemon. Or what about a quick sardine sandwich on whole grain bread? Even a can of mackerel paired with some steamed vegetables can be a fantastic anti-stroke meal. If you're not a huge fan of a strong fishy taste, using herbs like dill or parsley or a good squeeze of lemon juice can make it much more palatable. A little note of caution. It's wise to be mindful of mercury levels in certain types of fish. Generally, you'll want to steer clear of very large predatory fish like shark or king mackerel. Safer choices, lower in mercury, include wild-caught salmon, sardines, and trout. And how you cook it matters too. It's best to bake, grill, or steam your fish. Deep frying, unfortunately, can introduce unhealthy fats that negate the benefits and might even increase risk. Remember, consistency is key. Aim for about 2 servings a week. You don't need it every day, but regularly feeding your brain these incredible fats could genuinely help you stay sharper for longer and, importantly, help you avoid that sudden, life-altering event. 5. Berries, tiny fruits with mighty brain-guarding powers. Isn't it often the case that the most powerful things come in small packages? When we're talking about protecting our precious brains and warding off strokes, berries, yes, those delightful blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and their colorful cousins, might just be the unsung heroes of your diet. These vibrant little fruits are absolutely bursting with antioxidants, particularly a group called anthocyanins. These are the compounds that give berries their gorgeous deep red, blue, and purple hues. But more importantly, they are workhorses when it comes to reducing inflammation, improving the health of our blood vessel linings, and boosting circulation, especially to the brain. Think of them as protectors at a cellular level, fighting off some of the daily wear and tear. There's some really impressive research out there. For instance, long-term studies from reputable institutions like Harvard University have tracked thousands of people over many years and found striking connections. Women who enjoyed berries at least 3 times a week showed a significantly lower risk of stroke compared to those who ate them rarely. And it's not just for women. Similar positive findings have been noted in studies involving older men, linking regular berry intake to better memory, quicker cognitive reaction times, and even healthier blood pressure levels. So what's the secret behind their power? These anthocyanins and other beneficial compounds in berries help to relax your arteries, can play a role in preventing blood clots from forming, and generally protect your blood vessels from the aging process, all of which are major factors in stroke risk. Plus, berries are good for helping to regulate blood sugar, which is incredibly important because, as many seniors know, conditions like diabetes can significantly increase the risk of stroke. And the best part? They are so incredibly easy to incorporate into your day. There's no complex cooking or prep work involved, so no excuses, right? Toss a handful of blueberries into your morning oatmeal or onto your cereal. Add some sliced strawberries to a bowl of Greek yogurt. Keep a bag of mixed frozen berries in the freezer. They are just as nutritious as fresh, often more affordable, and last much longer, and blend them into a delicious smoothie. What's a good amount to aim for? Generally, about half a cup to 1 cup a day on at least 3 or 4 days of the week is a great target. And try to get a variety of colors if you can, because each type of berry brings a slightly different mix of these brain-boosting nutrients. One little tip: try to steer clear of berries canned in heavy syrup. Those added sugars can unfortunately counteract many of the wonderful benefits. Stick with fresh, frozen, or unsweetened dried berries whenever possible. So, the next time you reach for that bowl of blueberries, know that you're not just eating a tasty fruit. You're actively feeding your brain. You're helping to protect your balance and your future. And you're taking a delicious step towards lowering your risk of one of the most challenging health events that can occur after 60. 6. Leafy greens, the everyday champions for stroke prevention. We've journeyed through some wonderful foods, from decadent dark chocolate to brilliant berries. But if you were to ask a consensus of doctors and nutrition experts, many would likely agree. Leafy green vegetables might just be one of the single most important food groups for stroke prevention. And yet, it's something that many of us, seniors included, simply don't get enough of. I'm talking about spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, arugula, that whole beautiful family of greens. These aren't just healthy choices. They are more like natural medicine for your arteries and your brain. Why do I say that? Because leafy greens are nutritional powerhouses, loaded with folate, vitamin K, magnesium, potassium, and plant-based nitrates. This is a potent combination that works together to help lower blood pressure, encourage your blood vessels to relax and widen, boost circulation to your brain, and play a role in preventing the formation of dangerous blood clots, which, as we know, are at the root of most strokes. The research supporting this is strong. Studies published in leading medical journals have followed tens of thousands of people for many years and found that those who ate more leafy greens had a substantially lower risk of ischemic stroke. Think about that, a 20 to 30% lower risk just by incorporating more greens. Other research has shown that even one daily serving of green vegetables can help lower those troublesome homocysteine levels we talked about earlier, and we know that lowering homocysteine can significantly reduce stroke risk. What's more, those dietary nitrates found in leafy greens are quite fascinating. Your body converts them into nitric oxide, that same helpful compound we mentioned with dark chocolate, which again helps relax blood vessels and improve oxygen delivery to your brain. Some clinical trials have even shown that seniors who consumed nitrate-rich spinach daily saw measurable improvements in their arterial function in as little as 1 week. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Kale, collard greens, not my favorite, but the good news is you don't have to eat them raw or plain if that's not your preference. There are so many delicious ways to prepare them. You can saute spinach with a little garlic and olive oil until it's tender. Blend kale into a smoothie with a banana and some berries. You'll hardly taste it. Toss some peppery arugula into a salad with a light vinaigrette. Add chopped greens to your soups or stews. A good target is at least 1 cooked cup per day, or perhaps 2 cups if you're having them raw in a salad. Now, there is an important consideration for anyone taking blood-thinning medication like warfarin. Leafy greens are rich in vitamin K, which plays a role in blood clotting. So, if you're on such medication, it's very important to talk to your doctor before you suddenly and drastically increase your intake of greens, as your medication dosage might need adjustment. The key is consistency. But please don't let that deter you from enjoying these wonderful foods. It just requires a little communication and planning with your healthcare provider. Leafy greens might not come in flashy packaging, and they don't have big advertising budgets, but they quietly go about their incredible work, nourishing your blood vessels, tamping down inflammation, and feeding your brain the nutrients it craves. So, the next time you're planning a meal or sitting down to eat, perhaps ask yourself, did I feed my brain some greens today? Sometimes the most profound acts of self-care and stroke prevention aren't found in a pill bottle, but in choosing that vibrant spinach over something less nourishing and giving your body exactly what it's been asking for. So there we have it. 6 wonderfully simple yet incredibly powerful foods: dark chocolate, beans and lentils, avocados, fatty fish, berries, and leafy greens. Notice a theme? No exotic potions, no expensive, hard-to-find pills, just real, wholesome foods that you can find in any local grocery store. But please, don't let their simplicity fool you, because when you consciously choose to include these foods in your meals, You're doing so much more than just satisfying your hunger. You're sending a powerful message to your heart, to your brain, to every single blood vessel in your body. You're saying, I'm still in charge here. I still want more vibrant mornings, more cherished memories, and more strength and confidence in every step I take. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. That can feel overwhelming, can't it? Instead, think about starting with one small, manageable change. Maybe it's adding a handful of berries to your breakfast. Perhaps it's swapping out a red meat meal for a hearty bean stew once or twice a week. Or maybe it's simply allowing yourself that small square of good quality dark chocolate after dinner, knowing you're doing something good. Because over time, these little choices, these seemingly small adjustments, they add up, they compound, they become a shield of protection, they become a source of quiet power, they become the steadfast guardians of your health and your precious independence. If this conversation today has sparked an idea or given you a little encouragement, I'd be truly grateful if you'd consider liking this video, subscribing for more helpful content, and perhaps sharing it with someone you care about, a spouse, a parent, a dear friend. Because knowledge is empowering, and stroke, as we know, doesn't wait. But with the right choices, neither do we have to stand by idly. Thank you so much for investing your time with me today. Take wonderful care of your body, and you'll be amazed at how well it can take care of you. What's one small change you might consider making after hearing this? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.